box jumps up onto your screen. There's a little blue click that says "Got it." Click that, clears it out of your way, and we're ready to go. So again, this is our basic setup. Two chairs with the backs of them facing in. You've got a playground here, a place to work, and then a chair to sit in between these. And then we want to be scooted to the front edge of the chair so that we're practicing pelvic connection down through the ground using the chair and our two legs. Eventually, when we stand up, it's just the two legs. But what is constant is this pelvic, spinal, torso, head, shoulder relationship that we're cultivating when we are doing seated meditation, either on a chair or if we're sitting on a cushion on the ground. So get to that position now and start breathing in through the nose, out through the nose or the mouth. Mute everybody. Okay, everyone's muted. You're good to go. So breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, while sitting with quality posture. Whether you're in my Friday class, which is the Tai Chi, the more sort of classic Tai Chi movements, or here when we're doing balance and gait specifically, this is the practice you want to have as your regular daily practice. Like the minimum practice that would be, let's say, homework, is find times, you have a cup of tea or coffee in the morning and it's sitting there and you just scoot to the edge of your chair, close the eyes, breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, and do that for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, where you're tuning, you're calibrating, you're clearing anywhere that you got extra activity going on. That could be in the physical body in terms of, sorry, I'm making a little cup of tea for myself here as we speak. But as you calibrate the brain and body, you start to be able to be more sensitive to the places where you're doing extra. So the two ways that shows up, one is sort of like unconscious, where we're slouched, where we're sort of collapsed upon ourselves. So in that situation, we do have to perk up a little bit. We've got to bring a little extra awareness, some doing. You could call that yang, yin and yang. So the yang expression of our meditation practice is finding places that we are sort of asleep at the wheel or collapsed or unaware and doing a little something there. It could be the head and the neck tilt, could be a little tilt to the pelvis because you find you're slouching. You perk up through the body. But then if we're constantly in this state, it starts to become tension and also becomes exhausting to us over time, and then we deflate. So this combination of perk up, pay attention, do a little something at the various joint relationships through the body. And again, as you practice more and more, this becomes second nature, this awareness that just washes through the body. You can sense your pinky toe and your ankle alignment and something in the knee. You can sense a whole bunch. And then that information allows you to calibrate and orient. But then the yin side is very important, which is the softening, the relaxing, the releasing, the melting, to where you feel you still have this integrity to your structure, but yet there's nothing extra. And the Taoists explain that when we relax, it is a dilation of everything. So it's a middle out sort of plumping up that occurs when we truly relax. That is different than how we think about, oh, I'm going to relax, and we sort of slouch and slump and collapse. So alignment plus softness equals sort of like a full balloon, And the breathing helps at a deeper layer. So let's just take about 7 more long, smooth breaths in the nose. Feel that expansion, that sort of stretching you open. And then that exhale, which is melting, but don't let it collapse your integrity of your structure. It sort of closes in and consolidates in as opposed to collapsing. The inhale is buoyant in all directions rather than, let's say, just lifting. It's the whole body expanding, widening. And then this exhale is this gentle shrinking that has a consolidating quality to it. So we'll just do this 5 more. You could do this for 10 minutes and you would really feel something. More breath. Now our minimal joint mobilization work, because we're going to get to standing pretty soon here, but we got to do a little something. So slide hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back, chest up, chin up, look up, arch. And then slide hands forward past your knees till your arms lock, hollow the chest, drop the head and round. 3 more of those. Inhale. And exhale. In. 2 more. Last. And sitting upright, back to that central upright position, and then left hand forward, right hand back, turn. Right. Switch, right hand forward, left hand back, turn. And then turn. Turn. Back to center. Arms hang loose. Lean like you're falling out of your chair to the right. Lift that left empty foot. Lift this left wrist like there's a puppet string tied to the wrist. Just lift it. And then soft as you lean to the other side. And then soft, lean. Make sure you let your head droop as well. Because true balance isn't through tension and sort of keeping everything upright here. It's through relaxing everything around your middle. So a lot of times we're tense in the head because we're trying to keep this relationship to the horizon. But we need to be able to find balance even if we're seeing the world sideways. And then we see it horizontally aligned, and then we lean, and now we're tipping, and the world is sideways. And we don't want that to be something that causes us dizziness. So we have to be somewhat accustomed to changing our relationship to the world around us, to the room, to the space, right? And then you'll find, oh, the middle is here, in the middle of the belly. This is what the Taoists discovered eons ago, is that looseness helps to reveal our middle, and our middle is what we can rely on. Now, shoulders, forward, up, back, down, under, forward, and up, back, over the top and down. A few of these are part of the minimal joint mobilization because this is our most common area that we just grab, and we are unaware of that grab until we do these exercises and feel that those layers of tension melting and circulating through. And reverse, back and up. Oh, down. Under, back, up. Oh, down. Up. So this loose and free arm, chest, shoulder relationship is a little bit scary for us when we stand up because we're really accustomed to being prepared. As we get older and balance starts to become an issue, this is where we usually get ready. So we're ready to grab something, or we're ready to like fall and catch ourselves. And so then this works against us. We hold and hold and hold and hold. So freeing this up while we're sitting so that there's more likelihood you'll be able to do it when you stand. And then loose and relax. Now, again, minimal leg warm up, knee lift, heels pulled in towards the buttock, push away, legs straight, bring it back in, set the foot down. All the way in, all the way straight, all the way in. So another principle of the practice is that we want to practice non-weight bearing range of motion so that we've tuned up the flow and the ease between the various joints and tissue, right? So we're not pushing against something, we're not doing a heavy weight bearing exercise, but this is the same motion that the legs need to do when we squat and stand. Now, right leg out in front, point and flex. Tilt the foot in, tilt out. Circle the foot. Reverse circle the foot. Switch feet. Point and flex. Tilt the foot in, out, known as inversion and eversion. Circle. Reverse circle. And down. Scoot forward again if you scooted back. Step feet a little wider than hip distance, so you have a little extra space here. Groin area is already a little bit open. Lift your toes up, turn on the heels so your toes point in, your knees point in, and you're closing your quad. And then lift the toes, open the quad. And then close. And then open. The pelvis, torso, this whole central line should be, over time, undisturbed, not pulled to either side or pulled forward. We want the legs free to close and open. And back to neutral. Forward fold. From that space in the hips, bow forward. Sit vertical. Then you're going to lean a little bit back. And then sit vertical. And then bow. And sit up. And lean. Sit up. Bow. Lean. And vertical. Arms hang. Float your loose. Remember this looseness that we just cultivated. float the arms up in front, and then you just drop them to swing. Swing. So when they swing behind you, let them cross this line so they actually get behind you. This causes the shoulder to sort of roll over. We need this mechanic to be functional, this ability here. Otherwise, we stop here, and again, we're just holding tension. So getting it to go behind a little bit. Again, don't hurt yourself, but just know that the body's built for that little bit of behind. Okay, and then relax the arms. And then do one forward, one a little bit back, and then swing. Let this slightly turn your middle pivot. So don't hold yourself stiff and swing the arm. Loose, and when I swing this way, there's a little turn. And when I swing, there's a little turn. And we don't have to force the turn, we just have to allow the turn. And that's different. There's a difference there. And then settle and relax. And then with your feet, fast feet. So we patter, 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 patter. Let this wake the feet up, the nerve endings on the feet. And then relax. Now, notice that your body weight is primarily through the chair down to the ground. Slide your feet back a little. Fold at the hips, loose arms. Let your arms, shoulders, and head go in front of your ankles. Pour your weight out of the chair, so now it's going down to the floor through your feet. And then push down and rise to standing up tall. And resist the urge to hold up in your shoulders. Loose. Just do a couple of these swings just to feel that looseness. Any tension up here, if you swing your arm, it starts to move the body. So you can see already how looseness allows for balance. Freedom of movement allows undisturbed equilibrium, right? Swing one, then the other. And just be relaxed. Notice your upper body, if it's relaxed, it can move, and we're not really disturbing our middle pivot, and we're not disturbing the grounded quality. Even if the ankles and feet are moving, even if the weight is shifting a little bit in our feet. And then just settle to the middle. Keep this looseness and hip hinge, sticking your butt back. Now notice when I did this, the arms droop here. They do not go back like this, but this is the common response when we go to sit down, is we tighten up our shoulders. So let these arms be loose, and then sticking the butt back, sink, 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 until you find your chair. Then let the weight pour down through the chair to the earth. And now let's see if we can get that to flow a little bit. Just pour the weight, push through the earth, all the way. Now it's weight bearing, but yet we're doing the same mechanics in the leg, of the leg being compressed into this folded position, and then unfolding. So you're standing up tall. Now, don't sit in your chair. Don't sit in your chair, but sink all the way like you're trying to touch your toes or touch the floor. Sit the butt low, but don't sit in your chair, and then push and go all the way tall, all the way vertical. And then fold and sink. And rise all the way tall. Loose joints, relaxed joint tissue relationships, then allow us to return to an ease of movement. Stand. Now, you keep your chair where it is. I got to get mine out of the way so that I have space to be on screen and all of that. So you don't move your chair. You do not move your chair. You just have your chair in case you need to sit. I move mine because I have space limitations. Go to the chair on your right side, step and face it, fingertips touching the chair. Now, rock a little bit into your toes, and then rock a little bit into your heels. The chair gives you safety. Toes, heels. Those of you that have been doing it a while, you might find that you want to just have your fingertips ready to help with, or ready to grab the chair if needed. but now you're not touching the chair at all, and you're just rocking and rock. Now, the next time you rock forward to your toes, push through the toes and lift your heels up off the ground. So now you're really lifting to the top there. Then lower back down, let the heels land. Rock back into the heels. Really use the chair for safety as you pull the toes up off the floor as high as they can go. And then rock forward into your toes and push down through the toes. Lift those heels way, way up. And then down. Rock back. Pull the toes up. Let's do that twice more. Rock forward. Press down through toes. Lift way up. Down. Rock back. Lift the toes. One more. All right, now turn again and face forward. The chair is to your right. Now you're going to take your right foot and turn it 5 degrees turned out, just to create a little extra stable base. Your left foot, put it in front with your heel touching the ground. So now we're doing this, and your right hand is on the chair, left hand on your thigh. So now I'm going to turn a little sideways so you can see the angles. From here, stick the butt back, allow your right knee to bend a little, the hand that's on the chair, that side leg, and fold and slide that left hand down. Touch the ankle, maybe even go around the foot and come up as you stand all the way vertical. We're going to do that again. So it starts at the hip hinge. This hip hinge of sticking your butt back and folding. And remember, the tightness of your leg will determine how low you feel like you can go. And then come all the way back up. And so we'll just flow through that a couple of times. And if you do it regularly, then this area opens and there's a flow that is created through the tissues and pathways. A few more times. You can exhale on the way down. And inhale on the way up. And exhale. And as you're standing, we've just opened and got good flow through this, your left leg, it's my right leg, but your left. Now, shift your weight into that left leg. Use your chair for balance as you fold, and notice how my back leg is floating up with the tip of my torso. So it's not down here hanging. I'm actually using the butt muscle hamstring to lift it. And then come back to vertical. Back to vertical. And then we do it again. So folding, hip hinging, teetering, go as deep into that shape as you can, and then back up to vertical. In yoga, this is called Warrior 3. Tip. Right. Now on this last one, we're going to tip into that position and hold it for just a little bit. Option to fly your one arm, your left arm like a wing, and maybe someday right arm like a wing, and you're flying. But the chair is there, so please don't push it to the point where you fall out of the position. The chair always is there to keep you stable. And then we stand vertical. Now we're going to change sides. So side step over. Your left hand should be on the chair. Your left foot, you turn it out 5 degrees. And then your right foot, you put in front, just a little bit in front with a straight leg. Right hand on your thigh. Hip hinge. Stick the butt back and slide down. And slide up. You can exhale on the way down. Inhale on the way up. One more. And then into that warrior 3, where you shift, hand is on the chair, we fold over the right hip crease, and then come all the way back up to standing. So it's a back strengthener, it's a hamstring challenge on this side, as well as it's a bit of a leg strengthener in the lifted leg, buttock, and hamstring, the hip extensor group, vertical. But what it's also really showing us is our middle pivot. Because how is it that I can be balanced here and be balanced while standing vertical? What's the constant? And the constant is deep inside here is this sort of pivot around which all movement can happen, but the still point in the middle is unchanged. So that's why, as you practice these things more and more, you find the combination of freedom of movement of body and yet constancy, steadiness, right? Which when this is stuck, and then we try to do this, everything gets thrown off. But when we're loose, right, you can go all the way and all the way. Last one, hold it. So hand on chair, or maybe someday, eagle flight out to the side. And then we rise up and back to the first side. Now, for this first one, no hands on the chair if you can. Face forward now. Face forward. Make sure the chair is the chairs are in front of you and to the sides, and your body is a little behind, but you can reach it. Now, important piece here: as you change your weight to your right leg, notice that I haven't taken my heel off the ground. I haven't lifted my hip. I haven't done anything, and yet, if you look, you can tell this is where my body weight is. And it's not like I'm leaning way over. It's just this subtle change and this quality of this takes the weight. And then from the same middle pivot, change so that this takes the weight. And notice also I'm not using my leg like a stilt. It's soft. The hip is open. The knee is open. The foot and ankle get open over time. And this foot is empty. So now find that place inside your body where the change of weight occurs that has nothing to do with the empty foot being pulled off the ground. The foot is still touching the ground just as it was before, but when it's empty, there's a different quality. When it's full, you feel almost like a piercing through the ground. When it's empty, you feel almost like a little pocket of air. Like I always say, like the air hockey puck on the air hockey table. When the air's on, there's like a little pocket of air between the puck and the table. And that's what happens. You don't do that. That's what happens when you put the weight correctly through one leg and then correctly through the other leg. Now, as you put the weight through your left leg, this is where we, once it's empty, lift the heel, get to the tippy toe. Put the heel down, still with that air pocket feeling, then change. Now this one's full, piercing the ground. This one's got that emptiness, so we go heel to the tippy toe, back down, and then we change. So developing sensitivity to that middle pivot and to the internal change of full empty unlocks your ability to move better. So then we're changing from being stiffly going, doing it, right? Here we're clenching and grabbing. They call this being double weighted. Even though I've got a foot in the air, I'm still double weighted. It's only when I loosen, now I'm empty full. And then, wow, change. So let's go to level 2. You might use the chair for this. As you get to the tippy toe, just let it float up. See if you can get a little levitation of that limb, not through effort, but through emptiness. Full, to the degree I fill, that's the degree I can empty. Middle pivot, full and in. Level 3 probably will need the chair to go all the way up, all the way down. Still no body weight though. Notice that my foot's down, but I still empty. And then from here, change. Now full and empty, then I can go whoop, and I can go whoop, and then I change. In the beginning, we have to not prematurely lift the foot and leg. We have to wait long enough to feel the weight change, the status change. Then we can maybe, once you feel empty, you can practice a little swiftness. You can practice up, down, then weight change, weight change. Still waiting for it until you feel that empty quality in the hip. Then you can go lift, lower, maybe with a little swiftness as you improve with this exercise. But pausing here and then going, okay, 1, 2. And if you speed up too fast, you'll find it throws your equilibrium. But you find that smooth, loose quality, and it just flows right through the movement. Last one. Now, change your weight to your left foot. Right foot is empty. Put it out in front of you. So I turn sometimes sideways. I'm not asking you to turn. You just stay facing forward pretty much the whole time. When I turn sideways, it's so you can see what's in front, what's behind. From here, change your weight into your right leg and get to the tippy toe of your back foot. And then change your weight down through the left, get to the tip of the heel, feel the emptiness in the hip. And then change, soft, loose. You see I'm doing this little shake. It's like a little test. And then shift. Now it's another test. How loose is that hip? Shift. Loose. Now, from here, lift, lower. So use the chair where needed, right? Lift and lower from the hip, then shift. Once this back foot's empty, then just from the knee, a little flamingo lift. Touch the toe back where it was, shift. Once this front leg is empty, then lift, lower, shift. Back leg, once it's truly empty, just from the knee, we'll bend, shift. From the hip, straight leg lift. Down, shift. From the knee, shift. Now, hand on chair as needed, not only from the hip, but now we let the knee be soft and bendable as we fold deeply at the hip. So the leg folds up, kind of like a little origami, folding up. The foot is loose. And then bring that foot back to the floor, heel touching. Shift. Now your back leg from the hip, bring it forward and up and still have that loose knee so that it folds up like this little origami shape. And then reach it back behind you, toe touching while empty. And then we shift. Once it's full and back leg, front leg empty, then we just, and it's that looseness, shift, that allows this to be effective range of motion without any disturbance to our feeling of steadiness. But we feel steady, we feel grounded throughout, unbroken. Lift. Now we switch sides. Bring your right foot back, side step over. Got your other chair for safety. Change your weight to your right leg. Put your left foot in front, heel touching, light, empty. Level 1, ideally no hands. No hands, loose shoulders. Change your weight. Get to the tippy toe of the back foot. Change your weight. Tip of the heel. Remember, primary direction is simple, down, not forward, not backward. Down. If I think forward or backward, tendency is to get too far forward and lose that balance, or too far back. But if I just stay down, that gives me my up, and then it just so happens that I'm now advancing in space or I'm retreating in space. Level 2 now, hand on chair from this hip, lift, lower, shift. From that empty knee, just a little flamingo, shift. From the hip, lift, lower, shift. Still grounded, but now just through this other leg is my conduit to being grounded. And then I'm changing. So this is my conduit. So this one is no longer needed. So it's free to do something. And then this one's my conduit. So this one's free to do a little something. And it sounds simple, right? Because I'm repeating the same concept. Just because it's a simple idea doesn't mean, one, that it's easy, and two, that it isn't powerful. It doesn't create all kinds of freedom of motion. So that's the important piece here. Now, level 3, loose, bring that knee all the way up, all the way down until the heel touches empty, and then shift. Now that back foot from the hip, lift, reach back, shift back. As the weight is down, then this becomes safe, effective movement. Then as the weight gets down, then this becomes something you can do without trouble. And eventually, again, what can happen as you tune into this is that they almost happen simultaneously, so that it's as I'm going down, I can safely bring it up. So then eventually it's simultaneous, and then we're moving fast again or quick again, but we're not in danger. We're going, whoop. Right? That's pretty fast how I just did that. But you can see that I'm not disturbing my equilibrium. I'm still just relaxed. All right, let's switch sides again. Side step. Here. Put the weight in your left. Right foot is in front. Level 1, we shift. Once this back foot's empty, step it forward, the heel, and then shift again. So now we're doing 2 changes. We shift into the right leg, the left foot's empty, step it while it's still empty, and then shift. Do it again. Eventually this is just casual. It's just shift, step, shift. Remember to relax your hands, your arms. All right, so these should be loose rather than loose. Middle pivot. The freedom of that middle pivot to change, empty, full, change, empty, full. That's what we're cultivating. And at first it's a little scary because you're not holding, you're loosening things. But it is the most effective way to move. And it keeps us adaptable, pliable, rather than more and more brittle. Level 2, lift, lower, shift, step up and over something. So pick up the foot like the flamingo, bring it over top, put the heel down, and then shift. Flamingo the other foot. Shift back. This foot up, tuck, reach, shift, lift, lower, shift. As it goes down, that gives the freedom for this. And then as it goes down, gives the freedom for this. Down. Now going backwards is always a little trickier, so keep focused on down, 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 and then shift. Up. One more. So focus on down, even as the foot goes out and in front. Don't let it pull you along the ride. You decide when it's time to release that weight down. And then on the way back, especially here, this is the money spot. There, and then as you reach back, to stay middle. And then shift. Now let's go level 3. Probably need the chair for this one. Knee up, heel down, shift. Now exaggerate full range of motion. Heel, knee, foot, leg, down to the heel, and then shift. Bring this knee all the way. Toe back. Now we shift. This is exaggerated. Knee, tuck foot, reach back, shift. Knee, down, shift, and then heel, knee, foot. Same thing, stay down and middle, even as you reach back. And down. Switch. Level 1. Put the foot out in front. It should be weight in your right leg, your left foot out in front. Level 1, no hands if possible. Shift. Wait until you get to the tippy toe. Empty. Step that empty foot like it's just a feather floating forward. And then decide that you're going to shift the weight into that feather leg to make it the mountain. And the other foot is the feather. And then shift. Step. It's one of the natural images that come from the Taoists. The mountain and the cloud. Very different qualities, right? Mountain and cloud. So as you shift into your left leg, mountain. Let it become that sturdiness. The other foot is free as a cloud. Floats. Clouds are very free. And then change. So now this is a mountain. This is a cloud. Change. Mountain and cloud. Mountain, cloud. Level 2. The cloud leg should be able to just lift, lower. And then you got to change. Don't try to lift the other foot until you've actually changed into a mountain and a cloud. And then float the cloud up and over, land it still a cloud, and then change. So now that's mountain. This is a cloud. And then change. Wait, be patient enough to actually feel that turnover that happens, meaning it changed all the way. Then that cloud foot is more free to move. And then we shift, and it's cloud. Mountain, cloud. And I remember one of my teachers was saying that poetic imagery, whether it be an animal image or a natural sort of geological, I guess you could say, or atmospheric image like mountain and cloud, it's technical language. Just like, an engineer has technical language. It's technical because you can actually achieve that exact sensation, and it's easier to describe by saying mountain. We know what that is. Cloud. We know what that is. Let's go level 3. That cloud leg comes all the way up, all the way down. Change. Wait for the changeover. Then use the quality of the cloud to be how you take the leg through that full range. Shift. Use the quality. So changing qualities as opposed to maybe just thinking changing body weight. No, we're actually transforming into the quality of a mountain, quality of a cloud, quality of a mountain, quality of a cloud. All of it organized around still point. One more. Because if you've ever seen someone do Tai Chi, real masters, you notice this vibrancy of movement with an underlying stillness, pervasively. Okay, now you guys stay just as you are for a moment. Now everybody, let's move to the left side of the runway, all the way over here. Turn and face across the runway. So the key is that we have as much space going that way as possible so we can get 4, 5, 6 steps in. Level 1, mountain and cloud. So we put the cloud foot out in front, change the weight. Cloud and mountain is changed over, so you just let the cloud foot step, and then change, mountain, cloud, and then change, mountain, cloud, change, change. Going backwards, be extra careful. And again, the chairs should be nearby enough that in an emergency, you know where they are, you reach a hand out, you got it, right? So that's the point about arranging our space so that we can be successful and safe in the practice. Waiting until the foot actually is empty is essentially the hardest part. Waiting long enough to get it empty and then realizing, oh, the only way I can empty it is by letting that other leg truly reach that state of solidity, solidness, support. So it's tricky at first because it's not something we do in the traditional sense of doing with effort. We do that change by releasing down through one to the point where the other empties, then releasing down through that one, being relaxed everywhere, including the shoulders and chest and head and neck, everywhere. Easier than it sounds, right? Level 2. So now each step is stepping up and over, touching the foot lightly, shifting, then go up and over. Each step. Going backwards, be very careful. Coming up in front, bending the knee, reaching the toe back, shifting, waiting until it's truly a cloud, then float, 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 and shift. Wait for it. Be truly empty, then step. Change. Wait for that change. One more time, level 2. You can't have the cloud without first getting that mountain. You can only get the mountain by releasing into it. So it settles into the density that we're looking for, or the solidness that we're looking for. We can't firm it by action. That's brittle force. But we soften down until it finds that sturdy. Turn and face forward once more once you're at the far left side of your runway. Put the weight down through that left leg, right foot, slide it out, slide it in, out, and in. If you're doing it right, and maybe it won't work as well if you're on like a carpet, for instance, but if you're able, see if you can get this feeling like it's a hockey puck, that air hockey puck, just sliding out, sliding in. And make sure this standing leg stays somewhat sunken down through, so we're not up here and reaching the toe out kind of ballet style. Instead, we're down through, right? Now, keep your right foot out there. Shift. Now get 100% in the right, and then shift back so that it's 100% in the left. can you not lift your heels off the ground? So what that means is that it forces the range, the opening, the space to come from somewhere else. From not separating from the floor, you're actually forcing an elasticization of certain tissue joint relationships. Middle staying kind of like a still point, and then around this is one side is having to lengthen, one side sort of shortening, and then the other side is having to lengthen as the other side is short. Now stay in your right leg, air hockey puck the left foot, slide, slide it out, slide it in, slide it out. And if you're doing it right, if you look at my body when I do a couple here, notice that there's no movement like this. I'm sliding in and sliding out, sliding in, sliding out. And finally in, keep your feet together. And from this middle pivot, change so the weight goes down through the left, the right foot empty. Do this little movement here if you can. That means the hip is empty. I'm swiveling. And then change. So now right leg is full. Left leg, does it have this swivel ability? And then change. Full, empty, swivel. And then change. Swivel. Now finally, change into your left leg, stay in the left side, slide out. Change. Once this is empty, slide in, change, out, change. Middle pillar still intact, but I've moved across the room. Now out, change, in, change. Just this idea of premature, of only getting about 70% and then getting a little impatient and jumping the foot in. I still got my foot in, but I didn't cultivate this quality. And it's this quality that gives us what it is we're looking for in terms of feeling safe, feeling balanced, feeling adaptable, pliable, movable. So that's why it's imperative that we do slow it down and take the time. Now we're going to just add to this. Let's do a couple times the bear washing pause. So keep your feet separated about hip distance or so. Change the weight to your right leg, turn from that middle pivot, and sweep the hands across. So again, this is the one we do in Friday's class all the time. Turn the hands. Now we change the weight, turn from our middle pivot, sweep the hands across. Change, sweep the hands across. Change, sweep, by turn. Now we start to move. So shift, turn, sweep. Now pause here with your hands to your right, your left foot empty. Slide the left foot in close to the right foot. Change your weight into your left foot, turn from your middle pivot and sweep the hands across. Now keep your hands to the left side of you, slightly turn to the left, right foot steps out. Now change the weight to the right leg, turn and sweep across. Keep the hands to the right of you as your left foot is empty, slide it in. And then change your weight to your left leg, turn, brush, and sweep the hands. Keep the hands to the left of you as you step out. And then shift, turn, brush, sweep. Keep the hands to the right of you as you bring your left foot in. Change, shift, turn, brush, sweep. Keep the hands to the left as you step. And then shift, turn, brush, sweep. Keep your hands to the right as you step in. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. step out. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. Step in and back out, and let's go the other way. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. Keep your hands to the left of you as you step right foot in. Shift and turn, brush and sweep. Keep hands to the right of you as you step left foot out. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. And step in. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. Step out. In. So you can see how this is just adding a layer of complexity to what we want to work on, which is a middle pivot that is freely allowing movement all around it. Now, come back to your chairs, and we're going to do this little closing series for the hips. So first thing, take one of your chairs and put it in front of you, like so, so that you're facing forward, right? So it's kind of like you're like this, except facing forward. So you can see me here. Now, hands on the chair for balance. Change your weight to your right leg and take your left foot behind and just touch your toe behind. So we'll just do this portion of the exercise a couple times. So step behind, and then together, and then shift. Step behind, keep the toe empty, keep the foot empty, and then step it back, change. Touch, back, change. Touch, back, change. Now, hands are on the chair for balance. Touch the toe, and then press the heel down so that you create a little hip flexor stretch, and then release that back to the toe position. Step, change, toe, press, return to the toe, step, toe, maybe someday no hands. And middle. Put your chair back where it was, off to your right. Change your weight to your right leg and turn your left foot toes out a little bit. Chair for balance. Now lift. Notice how I lifted my leg just like we've been lifting before, but earlier we've been doing it straight in front. Now I've turned the leg out and lifted. So this area is open, and then close, close. And then lower the leg down to completely straight. And then while it's completely straight, open, lift, close, down, open. Someday, no hands, hands on belly. This helps organize. Again, there's a tissue gathering sort of quality here, like the muscles arrange around the navel. And there's also an energetic idea as well. But eventually, this is what you want from this exercise, where the foot never touches the ground. I mean, it never puts weight in it, it slides, right? And we switch side, go to this side here. Use the chair, weight through your left leg, turn your right leg out 90 degrees, lift. So it's lifted and you feel a little extra opening through the quad, and then close that quad, down. Turn the leg, opening the quad. Keep the quad open as you lift. Close the quad, down. Open, lift, close, down. Maybe someday one hand on belly, one hand lightly on chair. So this is obviously the outside in. And then you can imagine what's next, the inside out. So here on the ball of the foot, turn internally. So the body turns a little bit, but really focus on this leg bone internally rotating. Now, bring the knee across, open, and then let the legs slide down to straight, but keep the toe pointing out. So it comes down in external rotation. Then swivel on the ball of the foot, turning the leg internally, bring it across, open, down. Turn on the ball of the foot, rotating internally, cross, open, down. Someday, hands on belly. Switch sides. Ball of foot. Bring the knee across. Open. Bring the leg down while still externally rotated. Turn on the ball of the foot. Internally rotated. Lifting while internally rotated. Stay lifted as you externally rotate. Stay externally rotated as you lengthen the leg down. Then internally. Cross. External. Down. Remember the idea of the square and the circle. So the square is where we begin. We get to each corner of an exercise, make sure to hit them, and then over time, that square can have a more fluid and through movement quality. Middle. Hands together. Rub the palms. Rub the back of one hand. Palms. Back of other hand. Palms. Quad or groin area at a down V-line angle to clear that path. Hip flexors at an out and around sort of circled direction. Sacrum and tailbone at a tight V as you then move up and open and disperse compression, congestion through here. And then we bring the hands around, have the thumbs on the inseam of the thigh, middle finger on the outseam with a gentle squeeze. And you stick your butt back and dredge the channel. So you sort of squeeze along the thighs, and then when you get to the knees, be soft over the knees, and then dredge down the shin, ankle, and then let the hands come around to the inside, soft, up to the navel. Quad, hip flexors, sacrum and tail, lumbar or Mingmen, and then your hands come around in front and get that little squeeze, and we dredge, soft over the knees, and then right at the top of the shins, dredge down to the ankle. Sweep around, come all the way up. Let's do that one more time. Navel, quad, hip flexors, sacrum and tail, lumbar, and dredge, dredge. Dredge and and smoothly up. And finally, up the outer arm, yang channels to the shoulder. Turn the palm up, sweep down and off. Up the yang, turn the palm and arm down the yin, off. It's like a reset. Think of it just like a reset. You're not forcing, you're not pressing, you're just encouraging, promoting that directionality. Other side. Yang channels go that way, yin channels go this way. And wing, roll, pull, settle, consolidate. A moment of what's called middle embrace, which is where the hands are, again, just gently in this region around the navel. And again, we're not pushing anything, we're not forcing anything, we're actually just getting out of the way more and getting out of the way more. And knowing, having a sort of soft knowing that when you get out of the way, you don't go and start thinking a bunch, you don't start letting emotional turbulence take over, you're not actively gripping anywhere. Nothing can happen except that the life force finds the middle reservoir. Just like water by its very nature settles to the low point and pools there. It's not like someone had to force it there. That's where it will go by its nature. Same with our life force. That's the Taoist experience that they observed and really mastered. And it's very difficult to quiet and to clear and to empty for us human beings, right? It's difficult to do that. So this is a master skill to practice and move and activate and be yang, but then also let this yin process rejuvenation, recharge. And then finally, sealing. One hand over navel, other hand stacked on top. And then the Taoist bow to finish. This little grab, fold, creates a little yin-yang looking symbol. So we bring them together and bow. Thank you so much, everybody. If there are any questions, feel free to unmute and